Right, okay, so quickly, we're going to look at oscillators. Oop. Anyone else hear that? All right, cool. So oscillators, troubleshooting. You can use it for various things, but if you've got nothing plugged into the mixer at any given time, and you want to be able to check to see whether or not there's any sound coming from a particular channel or outputting, and you want to test those volume levels, particularly if you've got the DL32R, you know, it's got its, I think they officially call it the seating problem, where you have to, I think some people do it biannually, where they'll open up the device, clean it out, they've got the spray, and reseat the cables to ensure that they have, they're clean and they work, essentially, because it's got a known issue. So I've got the DL32S. I've had it since it came out, a couple of years, and I think this is one of the things they fixed in the S, different to the R, because I've not known this issue in the S yet. But yeah, you can send any level, through an oscillator to test a channel. Obviously, the oscillator for me is always on. I don't know whether this is the default or whether I just turned it on previously and it's been left on, but I think this is the default. And you get to choose the volume level. So at the minute, it's at -9.7 dB. And you get to choose what type of noise you want coming through, pink, white, and then you can choose what frequency. You know, so it's got 3 preset frequencies: 100 hertz, 1000 hertz, and 10,000. And then you've got a variable where you can select the frequency. This is currently at 162, but you can choose, you know, what frequency you want to test. I'm just going to set it back to pink noise, and I'll show you something really quickly. So if you go back into your routing, and you go into input A, for example, you'll see above channel 1, there's the oscillator. So if I was to send that, say, to channel 5, and I was to come back here and have a look at channel 5, you'll see that there is a signal coming through on channel 5. Go into the oscillator, turn it off, and boom, all of a sudden channel 5 is quiet. So it was sending pink noise into channel 5. Let's turn that back on, go back into input A, and return channel 5 to mic pre1. There is a video I did on demystifying routing, where I explain, give you a general overview of how routing works within Master Fader. If you want, you can go check it out, but it'll be a good place to start before looking at this video if you really want to understand what's going on here. But oscillators are pretty straightforward if you want to understand more about routing. But you'll find the same thing with input B and USB and output as well. So input B, USB, and output. Above mic pre1, you've got the oscillator. So I go into input B, oscillator, USB, oscillator, output, oscillator. Now, you could send a signal from the oscillator, which is on. Yep, it's still on. So you can send a signal from the oscillator out to the output. The only difference you'll find when you're doing this is, can you see how there's no signal spiking like it did when we sent it to channel 5? In fact, I'll show you now. So we've got the oscillator going to both channel 5 and also out of aux 5 on the output. So come back here, channel 5, and also out here. You can't physically see it here, but when you plug something into channel 5, you'll be able to hear the white noise or the pink noise or whatever we've selected coming out of there, regardless of whether this has it on channel 5 or not. Take it off channel 5, you'll still be able to hear it. Now obviously I'm plugging something in now and I can hear it. You won't be able to hear it right now, but I think at the start of the video you would have heard it, where I was just sort of presetting everything up and I was messing around. But yeah, that's how you basically effectively just test things. Now, one of the things you might want to test really quickly is whether or not, you know, the channel is outputting the same volume level as all the other channels. You might think, oh, there's a drop in volume on XLR5. You can come into the oscillator, set it at minus 8.3 dB. Go here, set everything to unity gain. Obviously, you won't see the oscillator spiking. Set everything to unity gain, and just take your, your speaker or whatever that you have plugged in, and just plug it into one. No, plug it into two. Send the oscillator, obviously, to all your output channels. Just select them all. Boom, boom, da-da-da, select them all. Obviously, I'm not going to do it because I'm currently doing a video. And just plug it into one, plug it into 2, 3. And if you hear any drop in volume, that's your culprit. Then you know, okay, if everything is set to unity gain and the oscillator hasn't had the volume changed, but I'm hearing a drop in the output, then you'll know, okay, yeah, there's an issue with the output on that particular channel. There might be a problem with it. You need to get it checked out. But that's a pretty cool way of testing things, particularly if you don't have anything physically plugged into the actual mixer itself. You can do the test all on your own without having to go out and buy. You can buy something that makes noise on the channel, etc., but it's all inbuilt into your mixer, so you don't have to waste money on that. But yeah, that's oscillators for you. Any questions? Comments below. Peace out.